My husband is Robert Orkies. We went to high school together. Right when we graduated from high school, he wanted to become a firefighter, and he became a volunteer firefighter, I believe, like age 18, 19. So he was a volunteer for a lot of years, and then he eventually worked his way up through the ranks and became a career fire chief. He was a career fire chief for Zonton Fire Department. He just loved his community. He loved helping people. He loved just being around people all the time. He just wanted to be a community servant.
Rob never met a stranger. Didn't matter where you went, he knew someone's name, and we would walk away from the situation and he could tell us who they were, where he met them, how long he knew them for. He was a very big impact in our community, just an all-around great person. He's the first person to put you in your place when you've done something wrong, but then the first person to have your back when you needed the most support.
His personality was just so big, and you could be in any room, be upset, be sad, but he would light it up in an instant and make you feel like you just met, a superstar. Like, you would never forget him. It was someone who left a lasting impact through the way he just made jokes and laughed with you. And there was never a dull moment with him. It was always good, laughing, a good time with him always.
He was our community Santa. He and a few others from our department years ago started around the holidays bringing Santa around on a fire truck. And by the end of it, our department is recognized nationally for this. We have the lights, all the trucks will go out. They do this for multiple weekends in the month of December. Santa and Mrs. Claus are on the top. Pass out candy canes. They'd stop at the local Walmart. Pictures with young children. Everyone wanted to see Santa on the fire truck. And if you asked anyone in our community who Santa was, everybody knew it was Rob Orkies.
And he had the ability to remember anyone he had ever met, and the smallest of details about that person. So he was able to make it so personal with each person that he saw along the route, or even at Walmart, so he just made it so personal that he just gave you that warm, fuzzy feeling like you were the most special person in the world.
You had asked what he was known for in our community. He was also known during Halloween time. He kind of led a effort to make a huge event at the firehouse every year for Halloween, and all the kids, whoever, it ended up being thousands of kids would come through the fire department every year. Just to collect candy from vendors and businesses and stuff. But he was known for having the most elaborate, outlandish Halloween costumes every year. One year he dressed up as the Tooth Fairy with the tutu, and if you knew him, you knew he was a big guy.
He loved it.
He did. It was a family affair by the end of it.
Yeah.
My Uncle Rob and my aunt and two cousins, it was, everybody matched. Everybody was a theme each year. It was pretty great.
No matter what time of year or what he could do, his number one goal was always just to make people in the community happy.
Well, he was our own personal Santa aside from the community. He really would play the role and grow his beard out and dye his hair, and he passed out the gifts, and he always had a little elf helper. And so the holidays are pretty big in our family in general, but especially when you had your own personal Santa Claus.
Oh, he loved the firehouse. We spent a lot of hours at the firehouse. The kids grew up as firehouse brats, that's all they knew, was just to be at the firehouse. And it seems like a lot of holidays, but it really wasn't. It was year-long. It was, of course, the holidays, even including Easter as well. He made sure the firehouse celebrated Easter. We have an organization there in town called Crusade for Children, which is a charity event that for sick and handicapped children, and they raise millions of dollars every year, and the fire departments are a big part of that from competitions, and that's how they get do most of their fundraising. And so we participated in that every year. Rob made sure the department itself participated in that every year, so it was helping the community not just at the holidays but throughout the year as well.
The community is the Zonton Fire District area, which is just a little bit south of Louisville, but it has this small town feel to it. So he was raised in that area. He went to high school in that area. He never left that area. So everybody knew Rob. I mean, honestly, it was just a thing out of a movie at his funeral, like his funeral procession. I mean, just hundreds of people lined the streets. We had to use the biggest church we could find in our community to hold his mass.
And it still wasn't enough.
It wasn't. There was not enough seating. I mean, he just had an impact on this small town. He died in December, so everybody in the community had like Christmas lights out for him. They had, I mean, there was hundreds of signs in our community supporting him, and I mean, just everybody in that area knows him and respected him.
The fire community itself is just amazing, you know, that he has led, and they continue now to, they continue a lot of the stuff that he believed in. Zoned Fire has been awesome. They have been by our side throughout the whole thing, I'm gonna call it thing, from the time he found out that he had cancer. They were right there by his side, and then supporting him and us. And then not long after that, he contracted COVID and was in the hospital for weeks, and they did everything they could for us. And they went to visit him, you know, as best they could from outside. You know, they took the fire truck to the hospital, and we all stood on top of that fire truck so that we could be closer to his window. And at that point, he was able to stand up and at least look out at us. But so that's what they have done, is that they have been there for us the entire time, and they continue to, this much later, almost 2 years later. It's been great. Obviously, I didn't know about the NFFF until he had passed away, and so then, you know, we started getting correspondence from them, and just reading through some of that stuff just gave us the support. You know, we realized that, you know, we weren't the only people that had gone through this. And we were looking forward to coming up here and just seeing the ceremony itself, which, you know, we still have yet to see. But yes, I am so impressed with the NFFF that, you know, and it seems like an amazing bunch of people. Rob would always make the right choice, you know, the right decision. He wasn't impulsive, and so, you know, when we would get upset about things, we could always think about, what would Rob do? You know, what would Rob say right now? We wanted the bobblehead to remind us that he is with us, and that way we always feel like it. And then when, like I said, we use it to think about, what would Rob say, or what would Rob do right now? And so we go on cruises, or here, or anywhere, camping. Rob goes with us everywhere we go, not just in our hearts, but we have this visual aid that reminds us that Rob is here with us.
And it is nice sometimes to help take the edge off, you know. Even here last night, our first night here, just casual conversations and what are we gonna do, and well, what would Rob do? That's what we need to do, right? So I do think it's a nice touch to have.
Obviously, he is very missed. You know, he had such a personality that you can't help but miss him every single day, every minute of every day. And we know that everybody is going to keep his memory alive.
Here's to you, with that smile on your face. Here's to you, and what I want to raise to this moment we share.